I'm Nathan Cohns, here with your look at the midday news for this Thursday, August 20th, 2026. Prices at the pump soared in this week's fuel report from the Iowa Department of Agriculture and Land Stewardship and AAA Iowa. As of Wednesday, the average price for a gallon of regular unleaded gasoline was $4.13, 34 cents higher than last week and $1.24 higher than a year ago. In a somewhat rare occurrence, Iowa's average gasoline price exceeded the national average, which stood at $4.09 per gallon on Wednesday. Turning to retail diesel, prices spiked 20 cents to $5.25 per gallon, $1.73 higher than this same time last year. The national average for diesel on Wednesday climbed to $5.50 per gallon. At the Des Moines terminal, E10 was $3.08. Unleaded 87 was $3.56. ULSD number 2 was $4.23. ULSD number 1 was $4.46. And E70 was at $2.50. Natural gas prices at the Henry Hub reporting site were up 5 cents to $2.85 per MMBTU. Two Western Iowa farm operations were among the 33 families honored yesterday at the Iowa State Fair with the 2026 Iowa Farm Environmental Leader Award for their voluntary conservation work. James Holz of Holz Brothers in Greene County and Andrew and Matthew Hurd of M&A Farms in Sac County received the award that was presented by Governor Kim Reynolds, Ag Secretary Mike Negg, and Department of Natural Resources Director Kayla Lyon. The annual recognition honors farmers who demonstrate efforts to improve soil health and water quality while also serving as conservation leaders in their communities. Recipients use methods like cover crops, reduced tillage programs, nutrient management, grassed waterways, terraces, wetlands, and rotational grazing, to name just a few of the conservation practices that these recipients use. Negg says through their leadership and conservation efforts, they're protecting our soil, improving water quality, and leaving our land in better condition for future generations. The 2026 awards this year did carry an America 250 theme, with each recipient also receiving a certificate marked with a special anniversary seal. A committee representing agricultural and conservation groups do choose those honorees from nominations. Since the award program began in 2012, nearly 900 Iowa farm families have been recognized for their conservation efforts. The Republican campaigning for Iowa's 4th congressional district seat, Chris McGowan, says the federal government must be extremely prudent about the way it wages war, but he isn't publicly commenting on President Trump's decision to authorize the use of force against Iran. McGowan says he doesn't have access to all the information the Trump administration had before launching massive attacks against Iran in late February. McGowan, the president of the Siouxland Chamber of Commerce, did serve in the Iowa National Guard, and all 5 of his adult children do serve in the U.S. military. His Democratic opponent, Dave Dawson, is an assistant prosecutor in the Woodbury County Attorney's Office. And Dawson says Congress needs to take action and stop what he calls an illegal, unconstitutional war in Iran that is putting American soldiers and sailors' lives at risk. Electric scooters and e-bikes can be a lot of fun or a terrible menace, depending on your perspective, and communities across Iowa are working to better regulate the speedy two-wheelers. Estherville City Administrator Penny Clayton says their city council voted earlier this week to put new restrictions on what it calls micro-mobility devices. The ordinance says riders of these devices need to operate them in a safe and responsible manner, following all traffic codes, like stopping at stop signs and giving the right-of-way to pedestrians. Those who violate the ordinance could face fines or impounding of the device for between 7 and 30 days. Several Iowa cities have adopted similar ordinances to regulate the use of e-bikes and scooters in their towns. Now, Marion, for example, has set a 10-mile-an-hour speed limit for sidewalks. Looking at locally, this has been a topic of concern for many of our municipalities. The Carroll City Council is expected to take a look at the first reading of an e-bike ordinance at their meeting coming up on Monday. And we do need to step away here for just a moment. Stick around. Got more news on the way. It's coming up right after this on KCIM.
This is Maggie Pauley, Director of Carroll County Public Health. Opioid addiction is not a failure, it's a medical condition. Help is available and recovery is possible. If you or someone you care about is struggling, don't wait to reach out. Talk to a healthcare provider or local support organization. Early action can save lives. If you need help or someone to talk to, please reach out to a trusted health provider or go to the website Your Life Iowa to get the resources you need to get your life back. This message is brought to you by the Carroll County Opioid Fund Committee, committed to opioid awareness and prevention in our community.
Transform your home in one weekend and save big money at Menards. Menards carries Purdy paintbrushes, roller covers, prep tools, pails, kits, and more to help you get the job done right. Purdy brushes have been handcrafted in the USA for over 100 years and are the #1 brand preferred by professionals. Save big on Purdy painting tools now at Menards and get your painting project started today.
Save big money at Menards.
Welcome back to KCIM's Midday News. I'm Nathan Cones reporting. The Carroll Community School District Board of Education will meet tonight for its monthly meeting. The agenda includes board policy revisions as well as updates for the 2026-27 school year, as well as approving the Teacher Quality Committee, the School Improvement Advisory Committee, and a schedule of meetings for the 2026 and 27 year. The board will also consider staff tuition reimbursement agreements, procedures for meeting recordings, and final acceptance of the transportation facility. In last month's meeting, the topic of live streaming the board's meetings was raised, and the consensus was for the board to first improve the software for their recording devices. The board uses a Meeting Owl by Owl Labs. That's a cylindrical tabletop device that combines a 360-degree video camera, an omnidirectional microphone array, and a speaker. CCSD Superintendent Dr. Casey Burlaw says the update came in light of recent technical issues.
And so there have been some glitches here, especially of late, where there was sound was either not working the whole time or it's kind of off and on. And we're thinking that could have been related to the software update. So we're checking to see if that's the case here with this meeting and then the work session meeting. We don't think we had any issues at the work session, and we'll see tomorrow night.
The software for that device has since been updated, and Burlaw says the topic of live streaming the meetings is still up for discussion, noting that the district is compliant with state regulations, but also highlighting a range of practices that are adopted by other schools and public entities.
That's why that agenda item's on there, so the board can decide how they want to do it. Again, what we're doing is in line with the requirements. We have to meet, but we're good there. Yeah, as I've said before, there you see schools that they're on YouTube and they're live and they're and then you can just always go to YouTube and get those meetings, or they're linked on their website. And then you got some that don't even live stream their meetings. So you got everything in between.
Currently, meeting recordings are available upon request, but they're not published or live streamed otherwise. The Board of Education meeting tonight begins at 5 p.m. at Adams Elementary and is open to the public. Senator Chuck Grassley was in the listening area on Tuesday for a forum with local business leaders. Grassley made his way to Calhoun County Conservation in Rockwell City to meet with members of the Calhoun Electric Cooperative Association, as well as other local business leaders. Grassley took questions on a variety of subjects, one of them being the national debt, which recently surpassed the $40 trillion mark, and its potential breaking point. Grassley says that hypothetical point is contingent upon investments into the country.
It's pretty easy for me to ask the breaking point, and hopefully it's not near term or even long haul, and never happens. The only breaking point is when people will buy our government bonds, either in America or in some other country.
Grassley went on to say that both individuals and nations have historically invested in the nation because it was viewed as a sound option, but if that were no longer to be the case, the debt would reach a breaking point.
Why do these countries and why do people in the United States and why do people around the world invest in our debt? Is it considered a sure thing that it's a sound investment? When that goes away, that's my answer to your question.
In terms of how fast that debt has piled up for the nation, national debt in 2020 was $27 trillion. In 2008, it was $10 trillion, and only $5.7 trillion at the turn of the millennium. That is going to be wrapping up your look at KCIM's Midday News for this Thursday, August 20th, 2026. For these stories and many more, don't forget you can always check us out online by following us on Facebook, on the web at 1380kcim.com, or through our Carroll Broadcasting mobile app, available on Google Play and the Apple App Store. I'm Nathan Cohns reporting.